This is reaching you live from NIT Asala. So this very good afternoon, we have gathered to celebrate and to send forth some of our very brilliant students who has been with us for the past six to 7 months on data science. Data science is a field in technology that deals with processing data and performing all manner of analysis, specifically predictive analysis. So this afternoon we'll be calling them out one after the other to showcase what they have learned so far for a period of time to spend with us here at NIT Asala. So in no particular order, I'm going to call on one of the gallant lady among them. She's very, can I say, she's very resilient. She does not give up, no matter how difficult it is. She stayed all the way from inter-analysis. She ended that 6-month program and she started data science for another 6 months. I think she has spent roughly 1 year with us studying data science. So please, as I invite us to the stage, I want us to make some noise with our fingers. This is Chidera.
Thank you. My name is Eda Chidera. I'm a student of NIT studying data science. Today, I'm going to be having a project on machine learning. First of all, what is machine learning? Machine learning is a subset of AI, which is artificial intelligence, where the computer learns patterns of data and makes insights and predictions. So today we are going to be working on more data sets. I got data set from Campbell, and so we are going to be looking more into it. But before we start, let's go to the introduction. The next slide, please. Alright, now an overview of our analysis. Now, first of all, these are the objectives we are required to do for this particular project. We are going to get segmentation analysis that identifies key customer groups based on income, spending habits, age, and loyalty. And another goal is to understand customer diversity, spending behavior, and develop targeted marketing strategies. These are for unsupervised learning. These are the goals for unsupervised learning. So for supervised learning, we are going to be having two objectives. We're going to be predicting spending score, and we're going to be predicting spending category. So let's move on to the next. Let's go to the title. Alright. So first of all, we are already going to know more about the data set. We don't just start making analysis. We went on to look at the data to make sure that the data set has no missing values or whatsoever. So let's keep going. Now I look at the data set, check for any missing value, nothing was missing, and we ensure that everything was in place. Please scroll. Please go down. Okay. Alright, go down a bit, please. Alright, yes, so we have loaded the data set, we have done data cleaning and all the things that are required, which is data inspection. So this is the data set. But before we move on, I wanted to know something. Now, for machine learning, we don't just we can't just load this data because there's a unique ID here, and the machine does not work with unique ID. So we have to remove this customer ID. It's going to be removed. Now look at the gender. The gender has male and female, and we cannot move the machine. The model cannot predict when there's strings, which are letters here. So we have to convert the male and female, or assigning it to 1 for male and then 0 for female. So the time, just in case, if you see 0, just know that it's male. And when you see 0, just know that it's female. If you see 1, just know that it's female. So let's go on with it. Alright, I have to do some exploratory, keep going. We have to do some exploratory data analysis stuff. So these are just the normal data analysis that we wanted to do with this particular data set. So we have to analyze spending score versus age. We use the scatter plot, and you can see very well, the values are all scattered down, and it means that there is no strong relationship between spending score and age. And we look at spending score versus annual income. The points are all scattered, which means that there is also no strong correlation between spending score and annual income. So we cannot really know what is happening here using normal data analysis. Likewise, the spending score by gender. Gender, female and male, there is no strong code on it. Alright, so here we have done the analysis, the normal analysis, and we found out that we cannot really make insight or create insight based on just the normal analysis. That is where machine learning comes in. And the first part of the machine learning is the unsupervised machine learning, where we are going to be doing some customer segmentation. Alright, now let's go with it. So here we are already moving on to the machine learning, which is the unsupervised machine learning. Alright, here you can see that the gender has changed. We are having 1 and we are having 0. I've already run some code that changed the male to 1 and the female to 0, so that we can also put this particular value into the model and it can run. So let's go up with it. Alright, I take the data set. I use standardized data because we can't use the normal original points. The values are long. Imagine having a point of 49 and 70. The model cannot be able to make predictions if the points are very far from each other. That is why we standardize the data so that the points will be very close to each other. So we have standardized the data. That's what you are seeing here. The values have changed. Let's go. These are standardized data now. This is what we are going to use for our unsupervised machine learning. So let's go on with it. So now for the unsupervised machine learning, is using unlabeled data to make decisions or to make sure that the computer will learn from unlabeled data. What do you mean by unlabeled data? Data that does not have examples. For example, you can say, okay, this is 1. Computer, the model, check this is 1. We are already giving examples to the model. Right now, we're not telling the model that this is 1. We are giving it an unlabeled data so for it to learn from it and make decisions and insights. So let's go with it. So we ran some code and whatever that is required in unsupervised learning. We use the clustering method, which means K-means clustering method, to cluster them together. So you can see the visual. Let's go to the visuals, please. So we are visualizing. This is Ego method. This is a visual of how we determine the number of K-means, the nearest level that we can use. And we're able to find that this is where the point is, which is Ego. So we're able to pick 5 as our point. So I use 5 as our number of clusters. So let's keep going. So I ran some code, serious code, and the rest, and we're right in track. So we are going to show you the visuals of the clustering method that we have, so that you can get an insight from them. Alright, please keep going on this. Alright, I ran some code. Keep going. I ran some code, and I had to use the heat map to be able to identify, to visualize the data set. So let's go to the heat map. No, the next one, please. Alright, this is the heat map here. Now we are after running the code, the model, the data was able to identify 5 clusters. Cluster 0, just like we have binary number 0 to 5. So we have cluster 0, cluster 1, 2, 3, 5. These are 5 clusters. So we was able to identify 5 clusters from the data set. And I know you'll be wondering, what does this thing mean and everything. Now for this cluster 0, was assumed that these are gender. This is the gender column. This is the gender. Please go up with this. This is the gender column. This is the age column. Annual income and then spending score. So when you see 0, let's go up with it. When you see 0, blue means above average. Red means lower than average. While white means around mean. So cluster 0 has an average gender. So let's go down with it. Go down to that the gender is average because it's already light blue. And we have more of older people in this particular cluster. And the income, they earn moderately but not high income, and they spend low. Now for cluster 1 has more of male, strong male, which are younger males, and they earn high income, but their spending is very low. So you can see that cluster 0 are mostly like retired people, maybe retired more members, or maybe retired politicians or whatever in an organization that decide to come to more to buy things. But they don't earn more, maybe their pension is not that much, so they end up not spending more. While for cluster 1 has more young male that are not really very young. So, but now they have high income, but they are spending low. This is where it means that there's a low spending score there. So it means that this cluster 1 are more of average young people who earn more. So that means they are cautious buyers. Even though they earn high income, they end up spending more. They end up spending low, so they are cautious buyers. Cluster 2 also has more of males, younger grades. They earn averagely and they spend more. So in this particular data set, it's only this cluster here that gave us the fact that these people are younger set of people, mostly males, but their income that they earn are not much, but they spend more. So that means this should be a target group in the organization. You have to target group. These are our target customers, because even though they're earning moderately, their spending score is high. So we have to look for ways to make sure that they maintain their spending capacity. So cluster 3 and 4 has more of female. So let's go up a bit. Cluster 3, let's go up. Please go down. Down. You are going. Alright, keep going to the interpretation of this one. So from here, go. Alright, keep going. Stop. So this is just a summary of everything. So cluster 1, we can call cluster 0 retired or low income seniors. Cluster 1 are called high earners, but they are cautious spenders. Cluster 2 are called active buyers. So these are active target group. Cluster 3, we can call them loyal, wealthy, middle-aged females. They are very wealthy, but they spend moderately. And cluster 4 are more of females that are younger, but they have budget. They spend with budget because their income is very low. So these are our future or potential customers that we have to work on. So this is all about unsupervised machine learning, where we use the cluster method to cluster the categories of the customers we have in this particular organization. So we're able to know, this organization, this is how the customers behave, and this is where we are going to focus on to make sure that the customers' satisfaction are optimized and the rest. So let's go up. Keep going. So I've already assigned a lot of things for the high. These are all based on what I've explained so far. So let's go up a bit. So I just visualize this to tell you the number. So for this particular, go to the next. Alright. Now for this, you can see that in this organization here, the older low income spenders are the ones that have the higher amount of, that's the highest member in this organization. So why is it that the younger ones that spend, these are target group, is the least, that's the third to be the highest. So these are our target group. So we are looking for a way to make sure that these people that spend more in these organizations are retained, so that not we having an organization that people that buy small will be the highest priority. So we have to make sure that other ones behind are carried on to make sure that the services in the mall is optimized. So this is all about unsupervised machine learning. So we went on to move to make predictions. Let's go down a bit. We went on to make predictions. What are the predictions I'm talking about? That's supervised machine learning. Supervised machine learning in the future. What are we supposed to do? This is how we're going to do. We wanted to predict, please keep going. Keep going. We wanted to make prediction on, for our spending score, what is the prediction in the future? How do we know that this spending score is going to be? Is it going to increase? Is it going to be continuous and the rest? Keep going, keep going. So we now focus on unsupervised machine learning. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. So here is where our supervised learning comes in. We are going to be giving the model stuff. So go for it. Go. No, we are done with unsupervised learning. So now we're not supervised. Keep go down, go down. So now, keep going. So now we are not going to be using the label data. If you can see very well, the spending score is our label data. So here for supervised machine learning, the computer, the model learns from a particular label data. Oh, this is the category. This is this. Oh, we are going to be looking at this 1, 2, 3, and that's how the model learns. So the model is going to use the label data to make predictions. So let's go, keep going down. So we are trying to predict spending score. Wait. Go up to this, please. So one of the here, we are going to do spending score predictions. So what are we trying to do here? We are trying to predict the customer spending propensity as a continuous value. And we are trying to use linear regression, which is also a part of supervised machine learning. So what are our objectives? We are trying to predict the spending score based on the economic and demographic profile in the data set. And what is the business value it will help? It will help us to understand the key drivers in customer spending. What and what makes the customer to spend? What criteria makes the customer? Is it because of the income they have that make them to spend? So that in the future, we know that the higher the income, the more spending they have. This is what supervised learning is all about, and this is what we are trying to get for spending score prediction. So we try to run some code. Now, remember the area when we use exploratory data analysis. Notice that the points are scattered, both on the age, the gender, they don't have really strong correlation. It means that even if we are making predictions, those ones that do not have strong correlation will not really have an impact when it comes to prediction. So we have to look out for what particular feature means the following. What particular feature do we have to hold on to make sure the prediction is perfect? So we notice that annual income has a strong it is a very strong predictive feature that we can use to predict spending score. So we have to use, after running, testing and training the data set, we run it and let's program this please. We ran it and we noticed that the data set was missing a lot of things. We tested it, was missing a lot of things, which we are going to analyze here. Let's keep going, keep going. These are all codes that are keep going. We use Pocket. So we use for the supervised learning, which was for the first objective. We ran some model like random forest, linear regression, decision tree. You can see that the points, mean, average, they're all very low. You can't really it's not really perfect. So the prediction might not be accurate because there are some factors that are limiting the predictions to not be accurate. So we try to predict, alright, yeah. We are trying to predict the actual predicted score and the predicted spending score. Now, please go up with it. You can see that this is the predicted score, and this one is the actual value. Now, this line here is the point that joins the actual spending score, and the predicted spending score. Now, the points here are very low. There's only 2 points that join here. Then the other values are all scattered. There are a lot of noise in this particular data set. So we cannot actually predict spending score as a continuous, this is a linear regression, as a continuous value because there's a lot of noise here. And we can't really say that this is perfect. If at all the values are aligned together, we say, okay, yes, the noises are reduced. But there are a lot of noises. You can see that the values are not even joined with here. So this is one of the visuals that will mean that this particular prediction is not going to work. So we have to move over, looking for another thing that we can help the organization to become better. So go up with it. So the reason why this was not okay is this. Please go up. Go up. Stop. So it was noticed that the model struggles with high spenders and low spenders. What do I mean? Now in this particular mode, we have people that have high income and they end up spending low. And we have people in this particular organization that have low income and end up spending high. So the model keeps confusing them. There's no sequence, orderly sequence choice. It's supposed to be there, but the mother was confusing. That's why the prediction was not done well, was not effective. So there are some factors here that are restricted. One, remember we said we have only gender, we have only gender, age, and income, and spending score, and the future. Now the organization is only focusing on psychological factors. We have other factors that can actually influence buying. What do I mean? Imagine if there's behavioral features like frequency of purchase. Let's say in that particular data set, we have, there's a column that has how often this person buys. Let's say customer A buys 3 times, 4 times. You know, okay, this is how frequent the person purchases. But it was not the data set. This is not actually one of the good predictive factors that we can use. The data set was missing it. Customer loyalty points. You know that there's how you buy things in the organization. They will award you high points. You can use that point to get more things. So the more customer data set was missing such information. Product categories. We have luxury buyers that end up buying products that you see this person buying, and you don't read normally, you go to the mall, there's the way they are cast, when they're bringing the basket, you look at the category of product they buy, you see this person is really a rich person because you know that the quality of the product is different from normal, someone that goes buy bread and more, that is different. So these points are all missing. We also have another demographical factors like family size. Family size can influence the spending score because you cannot have someone that has high family, big family size and spending low. You have to spend to meet up with the family size, right? So that is even occupation too. Maybe someone is a lawyer. Say, okay, this lawyer. Oh, this is a teacher. So there's possibility that if this person is a teacher, the income is going to be very low. And if this person is a lawyer or a banker, this is how the income is. It was missing in this data set. That was why our first prediction failed. Because the data set have all these factors that can influence spending score. So that is why the first prediction failed. So let's go to the next one. We have to predict spending categories. We're going to group the categories. If they are high spenders, low spenders, or medium spenders. So let's go up. So this was where we predicted, and keep going. So we made our prediction to classify. This one is under classification. Remember the first one was regression method, which is a part of supervised learning. Now this time around, I'm going to bring classification points. Classification, which is also another subset of supervised machine learning. I need you to take me to the visuals, please. Go up, please. Okay, yeah. So we are able to do the predictions now. We are able to predict our spending category. So the model has classified the spending score. They have classified it based on the medium spender, the high spender, and the low spender. And you can see very well in this organization, the particular population of customers that have the highest percentage is the medium spender, which are the ones that the model predicted to be the highest there. Now, if you are looking at this is what I was trying to explain. We try to correlate the spending category with the income. Now look at the income value here. 20 is the least. Why 140 is? This is the low spending score. This is the medium spending score. And this is the what? High spending score. Now look at how confusing the data set is. We have somebody earning 140 and still spending low, right? You have the all scattered across board. You have somebody earning 120 and still spending low. How can you earn 120 as a salary and you are still the list of people that earn 20 and 40? Something is not right. So the model made those predictions. So then we have someone who earning 20, let's say this is $20, and is spending more. So that's why in the first part the prediction was failed because the model was confusing both the higher spenders and based on their income. So the prediction failed. So these are all the classification. We have to classify based on age. Age did not really have an effect. We even have someone earning 65, also part of the load. And also have somebody earning 65 based on medium. So age, you can't really say that this particular age category are the ones that are the highest in this organization that spends more. Or we can say, oh, it's only elderly people, or it's maybe just middle-aged people, or younger gen. So we could not detect which particular age has high correlation. Likewise, gender. Please go up with it. Likewise, gender. You can see here for God. We have the female, this is male. Normally we use pink for female, or we use blue for male. So you can see for those spenders, the gap are not much. You cannot say that that the females dominate for low spenders. Neither can we say that the females dominated for middle spenders. You can see that the difference are not much. Go down the picture, you can see that the average goes down up with the sun. No? No? Alright, you can see that the difference are not much. Even for high spenders, you cannot really say, look at this is above average. You won't have the average, the best average. So it's almost above average. The points are not much. So we cannot really say that the female or the male dominated in this particular organization. So that is all. So our initial insight has always said that medium spenders form the largest group. Please keep going up. So high spenders show varied income levels. What do I mean? People that earn that spend high. The income, some of them earns low, some of them earns medium, some of them earns high. So it was very varied. Gender does not really is balanced across categories, and even age varies across spending score. So let's go with this. This is the explanation of what I just did so far. So at the end of this, there are some recommendations we are going to make to this organization to ensure that the sales, the insights gotten from these predictions, the optimization of the business is high, and the customers are satisfied. So keep going. All right, stop. Okay. Stop with it. So at the end of this, we try to know how accurate our prediction is. Go down, please. Yeah. So our model, we have to know our model performance, and we saw that the accuracy was 75.50. It should be more based on the other factors I just listed. So this is above average, and we can work with it, but we could do better. So the accuracy of this model is 77.5, which means that in the future, if all these recommendations are good, it means that business is going to grow more than the way it is at the moment. So let's go up a bit to look at the last slide, the last thing. Keep going. So this is just mostly codes around. Okay, let's go up more. So you can see here that this is the feature importance of spending prediction. Well, what do we mean? What particular feature, what particular column had more importance in this prediction? And we notice that it's only annual score that had the highest feature importance. Look at gender. Gender does not really have a strong impact. But age has, but it's not really that strong. That's why we hit on it. So there is possibility that the higher the income, there is the possibility of the person spending more. Based on people that are spending that has low income. Imagine if they have high income. That means their possibility of spending more will be high, right? So let's go to our PowerPoint to look at the recommendation. Our PowerPoint please. So the next one. Next recommendation please. Next one, the next one. You are more expanded. This is the recommendation. This one. Alright, now for recommendation. The first few are for the unsupervised machine learning. Remember, we have to focus on marketing on active buyers and our loyal women to make sure that the end up is spend more and buy more on the organization. They introduce personalized and tiered pricing strategies. You know, people that earn low, you don't need to assume that they will still spend the same way for people that earn high. So you have to introduce personalized tiered pricing strategies. Also, you have to build loyal programs. What are the programs? The more you spend, the more loyalty points you get. That can make the customers try to up their game and spending more, because as they're spending, they're getting points that they can also use to do what to shop in that organization. Now, we also use continuous data monitoring to adjust strategies based on behavioral changes. Like I said, we have to use some data monitoring. Look at the strategies that can work based on the behavioral change of the customers. Now, since gender did not have impact, the sales and marketing team should not focus on gender alone, because some people are like, oh, let's look at the male. The male are the ones that will end up buying more. No, we notice that the male nor the female do not really have strong impact. So the strategy is that the sales and marketing team should not really put gender in their head when they are trying to work on the customer base. Now from here, the prediction, we notice that the organization focuses on psychological factors. So we are telling the organization, the manager, the CEO, to make sure they introduce other factors they can use to work on their customers. What do I mean? Like family size, getting that's the customer loyalty points, product category. So any category of goods but if it's toiletries, if it's perfume, it should be recorded so that we can be able to use that to know where they fall under. And that can also enhance the KPI, the key performance of the organization. The next slide, please. So we should also know that we should launch targeted email. Now that we have known our high spenders, low spenders, and medium spenders, if you are sending email, you should not be the same email. You should have differentiated emails. For luxury spenders, you should send a particular email that end up depending depend on their particular category. So you should not send the same email across board, because now we have already predicted the spending category. Now we know our spenders. So you have to like, oh, these are the people that fall. Let's send them this email. It's very important for business growth. Now train your customers on how to approach train your staff on how to approach customers. Because now that we know that we have different customers that falls on different categories. Like I said, for high spenders, we should greet them warmly. We should try their staff to greet them warmly. Show them expensive things. Yes. You should know what person are high spenders. Oh, let's show them expensive items. So that before we suggest any other one. For medium spenders, show them good quality items on a fair price. Now for the low spenders, show them less expensive things and also give them discounts that can keep them in place. Now items in the store should be properly arranged to suit all categories. Imagine you enter the store and you are just using tissue paper as the entrance. It doesn't make sense. You should be able to arrange your mall in such a way that as it's entering each of the section, you know that this section is for luxury, and people that are luxury people will know where to enter. Not to put in luxury, less luxury in a particular category. So you have to arrange your goods and services to suit the category that you have in your mall. And then apply more money rule. What do I mean by money?